They flew then, so you can fly now. The Tuskegee Airmen were black servicemen for the U.S. Army Air Force. They trained at Tuskegee Army Airfield in Alabama during World War II. They were the first African American flying unit in the U.S. military. During this time, there were still many racists, so all the Tuskegee Airmen still had to go through hell. Even though African Americans were free, they still dealt with racism almost everywhere they went. White people still believe that blacks didn't deserve anything and that they weren't smart enough to accomplish anything. The Tuskegee Airmen wanted to be able to prove to the world that they were worth something and could do more than what was said. Most of the Tuskegee Airmen came from New York City, Washington, Los Angeles, Chicago, Philadelphia, and Detroit. Most of the Tuskegee Airmen were college graduates, undergraduates, and others showed their academic qualifications through comprehensive entrance examinations. The National Association for the Advancement of Colored were lobbying hard to allow African Americans to become military pilots. Neither the NAACP nor the most involved black newspapers agreed with the solution of creating separate black units. The Tuskegee Airmen received more training in French Morocco. Their first mission was on June 2nd, 1943. It was a strafing attack on Pantelleria Island. They were noted as one of the Army Air Force's most successful and most decorated escort groups. The Tuskegee Airfield program expanded to train pilots and crew to operate two-engine B-25 medium bombers. The people that were trained became part of the second black flying group, the 477th Bombardment Group.
Sure do. And they're right on time.
In total, 992 pilots graduated from the Tuskegee airfield courses. They destroyed 261 enemy aircrafts and won more than 850 medals. Almost 1,000 aviators were produced as Americans' first African American military pilots.
The Tuskegee Airmen were the first black pilots in World War II, and they were highly skilled and disciplined. These strong-willed men were known to fight in two wars, the war in Germany against the power axis and the domestic war against extreme racism. The Tuskegee Airmen were a group of young people who helped their community in a variety of ways while also changing how the African American race was perceived at this time. Now, Tuskegee was only a small town with only 2,000 black and white residents, and it was founded by none other than the Booker T. Washington. Now, the institution opened on July 4th, 1881. It was established to help save the lives of African Americans, help them become what they were destined to be. That's what inspired the airmen to excel as World War II fighter pilots. Some African American youth from all over the country attended the segregated institute, but the majority of them were from the Northeast. These men were denied military service and labeled as stupid, cowardly, and unpatriotic, and idiotic, and such cruel things. Now, these men were handpicked and accepted to be part of the fine institution. Now, the most famous of the fighter squadrons was the 99th Fighter Squadron. They are known to have flown over 200 bomber escort missions and only lost 5 bombers. Other important squadrons such as them consisted of the 332nd Fighter Group and the 100th Fighter Squadron.
When it came to Tuskegee Airmen, it was hard for them to get around, even be able to have the chance to fly. But like they said, they flew then, so you can fly now.